The first one is from the Christian Post, and I find particularly interesting. Christian Post is it's a website / magazine that is for Christians, and this is from christianpost.com/news/ Hillary Clinton is the best choice for voters against abortion, with hyphens between each word and then a bunch of numbers. But it should be fairly easy to find. It's Ernest over at Democratic Underground reposted a piece of it at DU, which is where I found it. And this clip says abortions rose steadily during the tenure of the first pro-life Republican President Ronald Reagan. They reached their highest level under President George H.W. Bush. Abortions then dropped dramatically under President Clinton, falling to 60% of the high under his pro-life Republican predecessor. That downward trend stalled during most of President George W. Bush's tenure and remained basically flat until the final 2 years of his term, when Democrats retook Congress. And then abortions plunged again under Obama, falling to their lowest point in 40 years. It's no coincidence that abortions go up when Republicans are in charge and down when Democrats are. The two biggest indicators a woman will have an abortion are that she is poor. 75% of women who have abortions make less than $23,000 a year, and half of them make less than $11,000 a year, or had an unintended pregnancy. Half of U.S. pregnancies are unintended, and 43% of those end in abortion. And then they go on to say, which political party is more effective at reducing poverty and unwanted pregnancies, because there is an association between the two. It's not the pro-life party that in this last congressional session alone fought to cut medical care for poor mothers and children, fought to cut food programs for kids, and fought to cut contraception coverage and access for women. And then they point out that in the states with legislatures that have seriously tried to limit abortion, only about 10% of the nation's abortions happen in those states. I mean, presumably women are traveling to other states. But they say compare that to nearly 40 years of data. So in other words, if all those states just banned abortions altogether, it only cut 10% of the abortions in the United States. They say compare that to nearly 40 years of data showing that we would save more than 3 times as many unborn children by cutting the number of poor women in half, increase contraception access, family leave, and improve pre- and postnatal health care. And we cut abortions by 50% or more. 7 out of 10 women who have had an abortion already have kids. They are desperate, alone, scared, probably ashamed, and without options. Pro-life slogans won't change that reality. Being duped yet again into voting Republican will only create more women like that. What those women and their unborn children need are Christians with the courage and faith not to repeat the political folly of the last 40 years. In other words, the so-called pro-life party, the so-called family values party, whenever they're in power, abortions go up. Bill Clinton famously said he wanted to make abortions, legal, safe, and rare. And that's what they did. And they cut the number of abortions. So if you consider yourself pro-life, anti-abortion, the ticket is clear. Reduce poverty among women, empower women, provide prenatal care, and provide contraception, and you'll cut abortions in half in this country if you don't like abortions.